In the 1983 film Trading Places, two wealthy brothers design a cruel experiment. They decide to tear down a successful executive and elevate a street-smart hustler just to see what happens. They don't do this for a multi-million-dollar payout or to seize a rival corporation. The wager is for a single dollar. To them, the money is irrelevant. The destruction of someone's life is just a casual bet. The two men they manipulate, Billy Ray Valentine and Lewis Winthorpe III, occupy opposite ends of the social spectrum. Yet, the Dukes prove how quickly external identities can be rewritten when powerful people pull the strings. From their balcony, the brothers watch the chaos unfold with total detachment. When you hold ultimate institutional power, tearing apart a human life can become an academic exercise. For thousands of parents navigating prolonged family court battles every year, this sense of being a pawn in a detached experiment defines their daily lives. When parents step into a courtroom, they face a staggering power imbalance. The institutions and professionals possess all the procedural knowledge, while the individual families bear the full weight of the risk. People enter this environment seeking fairness and resolution. Instead, they quickly find themselves inside a mechanical process that operates entirely outside of their control. When the process loses its focus on the human impact, it creates a cycle of attrition. To understand how that cycle starts, we have to look at the specific mechanisms that drive the conflict. The trap often springs right at the beginning. A single unverified allegation or a missed filing deadline forces a parent into a defensive posture before any actual evidence is reviewed. Psychologists call this authority bias. Judges and lawyers, pressed for time, adopt these initial narratives quickly. First impressions harden into rigid facts, shaping the entire trajectory of a case. Institutions prioritize immediate control. A single allegation triggers a web of restrictive orders. Fact-checking is bottlenecked months down the line. By the time the court pauses to verify the truth, the damage is done. Litigants exhaust their savings fighting preliminary restrictions. This procedural maze creates an intensely tilted playing field. For a parent trying to represent themselves, recovering from that initial disadvantage is nearly impossible. As the months drag on, collateral damage compounds. Savings accounts are frozen, work performance drops, housing becomes unstable, friends pull away. The human mind can only carry so much chronic uncertainty. Under the unrelenting pressure of continuous legal threats, emotional resilience fractures. When the court strips away a person's career, their financial security, their home, and their social standing, the person underneath begins to disappear. Financial bankruptcy is difficult, but it's just math. The true cruelty of a prolonged legal battle is the systematic dismantling of a human being's identity. It is easy to blame this on individual malice, but the real issue is the invisible, structural engine keeping the machine running. The billable hour structure disincentivizes early settlements. Procedural delays generate billable hours, funding new discovery disputes, keeping the cycle in perpetual motion. Add overloaded court schedules, and the system breaks down. Exhausted judges issue continuances, extending the conflict indefinitely. In this high-volume environment, legal proceedings take on the frantic, transactional energy of a trading floor. Human lives are processed with the same speed and detachment as market commodities. The system doesn't intentionally plot to hurt families. Its fatal flaw is much simpler. The structural design financially rewards ongoing conflict over quiet resolution. But we have to pull back and look at this massive apparatus through the eyes of its most vulnerable participants. A child has no understanding of legal posturing or billable hours. They only know their routines are fractured. They see their parents exhausted and tense. They walk into a home that suddenly feels empty and foreign. While the adults navigate a procedural war of attrition, the actual toll of this experiment is extracted directly from a child's sense of security. Surviving this system requires a new definition of winning. Resolution comes from reclaiming personal agency and refusing to engage in the standard adversarial script. Parents find their way forward by choosing compassion over endless friction and making the child's development the absolute priority. And for the institutions, there must be a demand for accountability. We need transparent, easily accessible procedures that prioritize swift outcomes instead of rewarding prolonged delays. Because whether the game is being played by Wall Street billionaires or inside a family courthouse, systems of power must never be allowed to forget the humanity of the people they process.